Lowe's has more of what trade pros like you need to get the job done. That means more delivery options, more convenient hours to fit your schedule, and more savings to fit your budget. More of the brands you trust the most. More of everything you need, all in one place. That's why, in the past year, more electricians, landscapers, painters, plumbers, and other pros helped make Lowe's the new home for trade pros. U.S. only.
The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello, and welcome to the Hoop Ball DFS Today podcast. I am your host, Mike Apotria. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. I'm joined by my good buddy, Keith Cork. We're here to break down this wonderful May 26th card for you guys. Playoff time, 3 games to talk about. So exciting that we had 2 hellos entering the podcast. I don't think I've done that in about 6 months. But that's just because Keith's here, and he gets me excited. So, Keith, how you doing over there, my good friend?
I'm good, man. I'm pumped. We were, talking about the slate already. We already have some good stuff out there. So you guys missed all the good stuff. I'm sorry. This podcast is probably gonna be crap now. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna lay it on you guys, and no, I'm excited for this slate. So I'm good and ready to go, man.
I mean, don't set the bar too low or too high. I mean, it could still be crap. I mean, don't say just kidding. We'll round that out. But no, we touched on it. We probably did get a lot of the good stuff out. We'll be able to. It's never the same twice. We had to stop ourselves from talking because we're like, hold on, let's at least start the podcast before we keep going because this is good stuff. But we're gonna jump right into it. But as you know, quick shout out to our presenting sponsors over at MyBookie, guys. Check them out. Head over to mybookie.ag. If you're looking for a good sports book, if you're looking for a good online sports betting website and platform, it is over at MyBookie. And if you sign up on your initial promo, use HoopBall. HOOPBALL, and they will match your deposit 50% on up to $1,000. So it's free money you play with. You put in $1,000, they will give you $500 to play with. You could use it on some NBA playoff betting, some MLB action. You can take it over to their casino platform. Any way you want to use it or spend it, it is yours, and take advantage of it. Free money. They also have odds boost contests going on, and everything is just 10 times better over at MyBookie. And if you have an issue, they have an immediate response team. They are absolutely fantastic customer service over there. The only sportsbook I use, the only sportsbook HoopBall uses. So head over there, guys. Use that promo code HoopBall. Let's jump into this, my friend. First game on the docket. We have the Washington Wizards traveling to Philadelphia. They are taking on the Sixers. Saw this one win the first one, but for this one, I might be mistaken right now, but I don't have the Sixers on the injury report. I just have the Wizards, Denny, Thomas Bryant, the usual guys. Sixers have yet to submit it, not unbeknownst to them, but it's not like they're resting anybody either. So, Keith, I'll pass it over to you. We can pretty much expect them to be full go. I don't think anybody will be missing this one. The only guy that may have a chance would be Thibault. He was the one guy that was kind of nicked up a little bit coming into the playoffs, but he looked great in that first game, and I doubt he misses this one either. So we'll start with the Wizards here. Business as usual. Who are you looking at?
Yeah, man. I mean, you got to look at Russell Westbrook, 11-4. It's hefty price to pay. We were talking a little bit before the pod started. Obviously, we were talking I was talking about Ben Simmons and Russell Westbrook, so I want to just address that real quick. And I've got him on my player pool for sure. I can't entirely fade Russell. I've said in the chat before, I'm done doubting this guy. Like, you just can't doubt him. He's a double king. There's really not much more you can say about him. He's phenomenal. 11-4 though. I don't know. Is he going to hit that value with Ben Simmons draped all over him all game? Tough to say. I think it's tough matchup for him. I think, and that's why I'm leaning a little bit more, a lot more heavily, I should say, on Bradley Beal at 8,800. That's actually my favorite play over on the Wizards side. Similar to Westbrook and Simmons, I was watching them closely. I was also watching Bradley Beal closely, and this guy was scoring every single play with 2 or 3 defenders draped all over him. So he's just an offensive weapon, offensively, just a beast, man. You can't stop this guy. So I think if Westbrook's going to struggle with that Simmons defense on him, Beal's going to have to step up even more. So 8,800 for that guy. I'll take it. And then the last guy I'm going to add on the Wizards side, I'm going to add my guy Daniel Gafford, 4,100. This is just assuming, and we'll talk about it when we get to the 76ers, but assuming that Embiid can have the normal game that he does have, and we have a little bit more rotation on that center, a little bit more of the bench centers playing because of foul trouble. Gafford at 4,100, he's a per minute stud for DFS purposes, so hopefully he can get in that 25 minute range, and he'll hit value there for you at 4,100.
Great calls. And I didn't mention, I always miss something. 230.5 game total.
Yeah.
Philadelphia by 8. So yeah, very similar to the first game. But I'm with you. I didn't like Westbrook in that first one, and I said it feels like I feel dumb saying don't play Westbrook. I don't want to tell people not to do that, but you touched on it. This is the one matchup that he's probably struggled with getting triple doubles in all season. It's the one team that he doesn't average a triple double against. So I'll probably take a pass on him again. I do prefer Beal over him. Just the discount and the way that my construction is working. We'll get to a couple other guys I do want to spend up on, and yes, we're getting a discount on him, but the matchup, it's all about the matchup and just some other options. So if you could fit him and you want to go with him, sure, I don't mind it. And if that's the case, I probably want to run him back with a couple Sixers on the other side. Also has the highest game total, so makes sense. Outside of Beal, though, I'm with you. I don't mind taking stabs at the centers. I talked about it last time. Gafford, 4,100. I want to play him. You touched on it. If these other guys get into foul trouble, he'll probably be locked into some bigger minutes, but I think of all the centers, he might be the one out of the three that is the most prone to get into foul trouble. I think he draws the most fouls per minute. So I don't know if I'll end up landing on any of these guys. And if I do, it might just be as a complete punt play, and it would be like Alex Len. And that's something, as you hear me say it, you don't hear the confidence in my voice because there is no confidence in my voice. I don't trust any of these centers. I never do. But I'm with you on Gafford being the best of the options. He absolutely is. He's definitely the best point per minute guy as well. But I think it's just Beal for me, man. I don't think I'm going to go into too much else over here. I think I'm going to have more interest and value later on in some of the other games. But we'll slide over to the Philadelphia side of the ball. I'll keep it simple. My opinion does not change on this team. It's everybody of the top three. Joel Embiid will probably be looking at a great bounce-back game here. Should normally decimate this team. Struggled in that last one, but that's not right. Things will change. Times will change. And Joel Embiid will probably be looking at 50 points here. If you don't want to play him, though, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, both these guys are absolutely phenomenal plays. I preferred Ben Simmons in the last one, even though Tobias Harris outscored him. And I probably prefer Ben Simmons in this one as well. So I think Ben Simmons being one of my favorite point guards on the slate, I'll be overweight. And if you wanted to take a stab at a guy like Danny Green, wouldn't fault you there, but it would be simply for the value. So I'll pass it over to you. Touch on a couple of them.
Lowe's has more of what trade pros like you need to get the job done. That means more delivery options, more convenient hours to fit your schedule, and more savings to fit your budget. More of the brands you trust the most. More of everything you need, all in one place. That's why, in the past year, more electricians, landscapers, painters, plumbers, and other pros helped make Lowe's the new home for trade pros. U.S. only.
Yeah, I think you can. I think you can play some of those lower guys, but you hit the nail on the head, man. These top three guys, I'm looking at all of them: Embiid, Simmons, and Harris. And you touched on it before. That's my strategy here. Is this is the game with the highest game total by about 20 points or so. So I'm looking to stack it. I'm looking to run back, Beal with some Embiid at 10-1. He was in foul trouble basically the whole game last game. It's not going to happen again. I mean, this guy's an MVP candidate for Christ's sake. So don't sleep on this guy, man. 10-1. It's a hefty price tag. If he does end up in foul trouble again, I'm eating it. I'm losing a lot of money. But no, I love it here. Love the matchup. Love the player. Obviously, I think he's going to have a real big bounce back spot. And I'm with you, Simmons. I actually do like Tobias Harris at 7K a little bit more though, just because people that know me know that I follow the Wizards pretty closely. There's a lot of chatter and a lot of talking about how they don't have a wing at all to guard Tobias Harris. And it's true. And if they want to take Ben Simmons off of Westbrook and put him on Tobias Harris or something, or if they want to take Westbrook and put him on Tobias Harris or something like that, then they're going to end up with Raul Neto playing, against Ben Simmons. That just doesn't make sense. Simmons is going to roast him. I mean, they just don't have an option. I mean, they might play some Chandler Hutchison or something like that, but So I like Tobias Harris at 7K. That's probably I'm probably going to run Tobias, Embiid, and Beal in some lineups here.
I can't fault you. I think they all have upside. I think Tobias and Ben Simmons are underpriced, given the circumstances, playoffs, and the matchup. And Embiid's priced appropriately, but All these guys, I'm expecting all three of them to hit their ceilings, or not ceilings, hit their value. Sorry, if they all hit their ceilings, yeah, you're going to want to play all three of them because you'll probably be looking at about 200 combined points between them. Anybody else outside of those guys, though? You playing any Thibault? You playing any like Shake Milton, Danny Green? Anybody for value? Dwight Howard coming in there at 43.
I'll always look at Danny Green. I just love the guy. I love his game. I love the way he contributes across the board. But no, I'm not looking at any of those other guys, to tell you the truth. Now, if you want to, I can't fault you, but I'm not looking at them.
I respect the honesty. We'll keep moving to the next game. Atlanta Hawks traveling to New York, taking on the Knicks, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time game. This one coming in 213 game total. Knicks favored by 2.5, despite Mr. Trae Young being all over. I don't know if did you manage to catch that? He's basically all over every New York media outlet that there is, and he's like barred from the city at this point. I don't know if he can walk around there. The dude's just trying to do his job. Hawks, Brandon Goodwin, Cam Reddish, both ruled out. For the Knicks, Nerlens Noel is questionable. Mitchell Robinson has been ruled out. I'll let you start. Give us some Hawks.
Yeah, Trae Young, man, Trae Dale. If I can fit him in with all those guys I talked about in the first game, somehow I get him in there. I'm going to. I just think the Knicks are a solid defensive team, but if you want to attack them at the guard spot. I mean, they're running Alfred Payton out there as kind of a show at this point, and then they're bringing in Derrick Rose, and neither of those guys is really that much of a lockdown defender. They have. I can never say this guy's name, but they have Frank as the other backup point guard. Ntilikina, there you go, who can play some defense. And he did get a chance on that last play, that last game, and failed. But no, I don't see a world in which Trae Young doesn't have a good game. So 8,500 for Trae Young, I'll go there for sure. Probably gonna slide down a little bit more in salary though, just because those other guys I want to play. So John Collins at 6,500 is another guy I'm looking strongly at. He had a really, really strong first half, and then he just disappeared in the second half. He got relegated to just standing in the corner on the offensive end, and I would have to think that the Hawks adjusted on that because he was just tearing the Knicks up in that first half. So hoping he has a bigger game here. 6,500. I don't mind going to him there if he fills in my roster.
I kind of looking at the same Hawks. I think I've been. Capello's one of my favorite centers on the slate. I just love Capello in this matchup. I love Capello in playoff time. Had a little bit of a down game. Still did pretty solid. Only 30 DK points, but I think with all the other center options, he's going to be one of those guys that is low owned. And when you talk about just all the upside all these guys have between him, Gobert, and Embiid, they all have 60-point, 50-point upside. It's all there. It's just getting and knowing I'm going to get an ownership discount, getting at what I feel like is a price discount. We know that this Knicks team is going to play big. I don't mind taking some stabs at Capella, and I think I'm probably going to be overweight on him. So he'll probably be my favorite option. I think I'll look at Trae Young. I don't know how my builds are going to wind up. If I end up not playing as much Beal, I'll probably have a little bit more Trae Young. But as of right now, I think I'm leaning slightly more towards Beal. Both of them are fantastic options, though. I don't think I'll be on Trey Collins. Not the option I'm really looking at. And then if I need to go anywhere for some slight value, it might be a guy like taking a stab at DeAndre Hunter at 4K, hoping that he gets that minutes limit increased ever so slightly. It's been like hovering right around 20 to 22 minutes. If that can get bumped up to 24, 25, 4K, I wouldn't mind paying for it. But obviously, some risk associated, and you'd have to be getting some pretty good stars in there if you're looking at guys like that. But on the Knicks side of the ball, my man, a lot more interest over here, and I'm sure you will have it as well. So I'll let you start. Break down some Knicks.
Yes, I have a lot of interest in my 2011 Chicago Bulls Redux team over here on the other side of the ball. No, Julius Randle's there, 9,400. He's in my player pool. You can't rule him out. I think he had a down game last game. I think he has a good bounce back potential here, especially they're going to be in Madison Square Garden, of course, and they want to win this after a big letdown after Trae Young basically played villain. So as far as narrative goes, I get it. 9,400 for Julius Randle. It's great. Like I said, I have other interest in other guys, so I'm just probably not going to play him a whole bunch. But I get the appeal. But I do have a ton of interest. I've got a lot of interest in my guy, Derrick Rose. 2011's calling. Derrick Rose is here. He's not the MVP candidate anymore, but 5,900, this guy played 38 minutes last game. He's a de facto starting point guard, whether or not Alfred Payton's out there to start the game or not. So if Derrick Rose is getting 38 minutes, 5,900, yeah, sign me up. He's got huge upside here. Obviously if he has a little bit of that flashback game and drops 40, 50 points, which is totally possible. It's not probable at all, but it's possible. You're looking at a huge value there. And then, another great value play here on that side of the ball is Taj Gibson at 3,300. Nerlens Noel is questionable with the sprained ankle. If he is out, I'm playing Taj Gibson all day, every day, forever. But if Noel is in, I'd probably still play Taj Gibson. He got 24 minutes in that last one. I know Noel did sprain his ankle, obviously, so maybe he got a few more extra minutes there. But if he's getting in the mid-20s to the low 20s, he contributes some points, he contributes some boards, he contributes some blocks. He's even thrown in some assists there. He contributes everywhere for this Knicks team. And Tibbs has his guys. So if this game's close and he wants to rely on somebody, Tibbs is very set in his ways. He's going to play his guys. Taj Gibson's one of those guys.
Yeah, so I know Noel hurt his ankle in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
At what point in the fourth quarter, I don't know. I'll check on that. But while I'm stalling it, I'm checking that to find out exactly, what point he hurt. Absolutely love Randle. Excuse me. I'm fully expecting a bounce back game. 9,400 is a great price tag. I love the matchup. Everything about it just, screams off the page. There's a lot of options on this Knicks team, and for that reason, Randle might even, go lower owned than he probably should. And by that, I mean, he'll probably still be 50% owned on the slate. But he's on this kind of slate with the options we have. He's a guy that probably should be more like 60, 65. Barrett's a great option. Derrick Rose is a great option. Alec Burks coming off of one of his best games of the season. It just happens to be at in a playoff game. Great option. Any guy that's going to get 26 minutes to have that sort of volume, that sort of usage, is a fantastic option in this matchup. And then you touched on it, Taj Gibson. He's a play for me as well, regardless of Noel. I expect Noel to play. He was originally deemed probable, and then they, downgraded him to questionable, I guess, or they just said they didn't list his availability or say if he's going to be good to go. So I expect him to play, but clearly it's still bothering him. It's going to be bothering him. It's an ankle injury. It doesn't just heal overnight, a day or 2, 3 days minimum. And with that being said, it's also Nerlens Noel, who has a trip or two to the locker room here and there. So Taj Gibson is Tibbs' guy. He will forever have a place in his heart and probably on his coaching staff once he retires. So probably looking at least 20 minutes for Taj regardless, I think. So all four of those guys, 5 are options for me. Pick and choose. I think having two to three of these guys in a lineup makes a lot of sense. And I love your call on Derrick Rose because, between him and Burks, I think having one of those guys, just having one of these bench unit usage guys is a big way to go because a lot of times you don't want to just crowd up on the starters because you're trying to capitalize, especially if you're playing in a GPP, on maximizing the potential profit from your lineup, maximizing the amount of points that each player can get to get you to the highest scoring lineup. And, going with 3 or 4 guys in a starting unit sometimes can be tough because, someone's got to eat and someone's going to have to stand there in the corner. And having the usage, distributed amongst having, 2 of the, Randle or Barrett perhaps, and you have 2 of those guys that are going to lead the starters in usage, and then having the guy that might lead the bench unit in usage is a way you could just attack a team and capitalize all around. So I love doing that. I love getting those bench unit guys. So love that you mentioned Derrick Rose, man. I'm going to probably have a fair amount of him as well. Are you ready to move on to the next one?
I am ready.
That's a mouthful, man. I gotta start breathing more in between talking. Oh, and in between my stalling, I did find out that Nerlens Noel he got hurt right at the 6 minute mark. So about 6 minutes left in the game, and then when he checked out, we saw our main man Taj Gibson check right in, and he finished the last 5 minutes. So Taj Gibson was probably looking at about 18 minutes, regardless of the Nerlens Noel injury. That's enough for me. 3,300. You're playing a dumpster dive play. I think I prefer that over DeAndre Hunter for $700 less. So boom, there it is. Last game of the night: Memphis Grizzlies traveling to Utah, taking on the Jazz. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game for the Grizzlies. Sean McDermott, only person ruled out. Jazz have yet to submit their injury report, but they should be good to go. 216.5 game total. Jazz favored by 7.5. We expect Donovan Mitchell to be available for this one. That's probably why we haven't gotten their injury report. We're waiting on that, but we expect him to be available, especially after the shenanigans that happened in that last one. I don't know if you saw that, Keith. He came out and said, I don't know why they didn't play me. I guess it boiled down to his personal trainer said he was good to go. And the team's training staff said, no, not so soon. We want you for the rest of the playoffs, not just for game 1. So I'll pass it over to you. Let's hear some Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's darling the Memphis Grizzlies, a Cinderella story. I love it. I want them to win. Obviously, I'm cheering for them. I just got this feeling in my gut, though. This is going to be a wake-up game for these Grizzlies. Utah Jazz are coming back full strength. Mitchell's coming back from an injury, so he's getting reintegrated. So it's always kind of tough when you're doing that with somebody that has a lot of usage. But it's just something tells me the Jazz are just going to try to give it to the Grizzlies here. I hope I'm wrong. I want the Grizzlies to win, but Ja Morant's still in my player pool, 8,100. I think that's a fair price for him. Am I going to play him a whole bunch? Probably not. I think he's probably not going to have a lot of ownership. So I would go to some Ja, maybe in a GPP play, if I'm having multiple entries. But I'm probably most excited about the other guy I'm looking at in the Grizzlies is Grayson Allen at 3,700. Seems to have sneaked back into that 25-ish minute role that he had before, where he was just putting up numbers, putting up 25 or so DK points, every single time he touched the floor because he was getting 25 minutes. So I like him here again. Melton's not playing as much, and obviously Dylan Brooks had a huge game, but Grayson Allen had a huge hit some huge shots in that play-in game against the Golden State Warriors. So I think he's really just earned a spot again, and 3,700 obviously is not a very bad price to pay. So you're getting a lot of salary saved there, and he's probably going to hit value.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm kind of with you on Ja Morant. I'll keep him in my player pool just for GPPs, but I realistically I don't see myself owning too much of him. As well as he played in that last one, he didn't hit value. There's a lot of guys on this slate who are in premium spots. I'd rather pay the extra $400 for Trey. I'd rather pay the $800 less for Ben Simmons. Those are just easy decisions for me to make, and I'd probably even rather pay the $67 for Conley on the other side once we get to him. Only two people I'm looking at it. You touched on Grayson Allen. Yes, absolutely value play. Anybody that's playing mid-20s minutes during the playoff and is under 4K is a value play. You're not expecting every single guy that's a value under 4K to hit you 35 or 40 like we were during the regular season. You'll be happy if they hit 5X. That's what we're looking for because we know that rotations are going to be tight, and the guys that we spend up on, we're expecting to at least hit the value of where they're priced at least for the first round of playoffs. Like Ben Simmons at 73, he keeps playing the way he is. He's going to be priced at 8K by the next series, guaranteed. But those are the two guys. Just Joe Val as a pivot off of Capella, and then I'll be looking at a little bit of Grayson Allen as well. On the Jazz side of things, I'll keep it short and sweet. Going back to Gobert, don't mind that one bit. Again, it's tough. This is probably why I'm not going to get on any Embiid. I like all these mid-tier centers. Gobert got into foul trouble, fouled out of that last game, only ended up playing 25 minutes, still managed to put up 35 DK points. This guy could actually stay in the game, play a full complement of minutes, end up playing 30 minutes, 35 minutes. He's pretty much locked into 40+. So I absolutely love Gobert and him. But my real struggle is more between Gobert and Capella. Less of Valanciunas. Again, that's part of the reason why I don't want to play a lot of those Grizzlies guys is that Gobert got into foul trouble and fouled out, only played 25 minutes. Of course, it's easier for everybody to have a little bit more action in the paint when Gobert's out of the game. But Gobert, Conley is probably it for me. And then Royce O'Neal, if I need the value at 4,100, just another guy playing 36 minutes at 4,100. If you need value, you can't go wrong with guys like that.
I'm going to go ahead and say I really have nothing else to add because I have the exact same people and the exact same reasoning. I do love your analysis of Gobert, though. If I wasn't so, I'm just so on top of Embiid. I'll have to think about it a little bit more, but I do love that I do love this price here, 7,700 for Gobert in this matchup. I just think it's money. So, I don't know, man. Maybe I can get both in there. I don't know. We'll see. But
double center.
I'm totally on board with you, 100%. Same way, same thinking.
All right. Well, that brings us home, man. That rounds us out. So that will bring us to our player tiers. Expensive tier. Start us off.
I am going to go with my main man, the process, Joel Embiid, 10-1. Just love it. I love it in this spot because I want to have this as a run it back game as the one game on the slate that has the highest game total. And he just struggled with foul trouble the entire game I was watching, and he just couldn't get it going. So if he gets it going here, starts getting some momentum, there's no way he doesn't just absolutely tear up this Wizards interior defense. It's a terrible defense. So show everyone why you're in the MVP conversation, Joel. Win me some money.
Yes, sir. Love it. I will go to the most improved player. Love the little narrative as well for Julius Randle, 9,400. Absolutely love him in the matchup. He torched them all season long. The only bad game he had against them was last game. Expect a big bounce back game. Expect a big bounce back game for the Knicks in general. And still at home. You got to hope that they can protect it a little bit now. They got to liven up the Garden a little bit more. I don't think they were loud enough for Trae Young. They quieted down at the end a little bit too much. So I will go with some Julius Randle. Mid-tier, 8K or less. Who are you looking at?
I am looking at my guy, Derrick Rose. It must be 2011 because this guy, he's just playing well. 38 minutes last game. De facto starter. He's just got the upside there. It's just huge upside. I mean, if this guy's shot's falling and he's just feeling it and he's getting in his groove. I've seen this guy. Obviously, I've watched him play a lot of basketball. So cheering for him always. So I love having a guy I can cheer for, and also it looks like a great value play in DFS, and that's what Derrick Rose is to me. So Derrick Rose is my guy.
All right. I think I'm going with the exact same guys I went with my last tier on the last time these teams played. I'll go Ben Simmons, 7,300. Just love the matchup. Love everything about it. Love the usage. I love that he's going to have to play every single minute that he possibly could. And this is just one of those matchups where with the pace, with the two players involved between Beal and Westbrook, it's a very turnover-prone matchup. That leads to lots of steals, lots of transition dunks, lots of fast breaks, lots of things that Ben Simmons could get fantasy points with. So I will have some Ben Simmons. If I didn't go with Ben Simmons though, I think I just switched my own mind. I not only changed your mind with Rudy Gobert. I think I changed my own mind. I think I'm starting to lean a little bit more Rudy over Capella. I'm looking at my build right now, and I'm digging it, man. I kind of digging it. So we'll have to see on that one. But we'll go to value tier. Give me your value play.
All right, Taj Gibson, man, he's my guy, 3,300. Hopefully, Noel's a little banged up and sits a little bit more, and Taj gets a few more minutes. But like you said, even if he gets that 18 minutes, it's still money, man. Still contributing to this team a whole lot. And Tibbs just loves his guys, man. And Taj has been his guy for a decade. So I'm all aboard that Taj Gibson train at 3,300.
It feels like it's been more than a decade.
It might have been like 12 years or something.
Yeah, I think
it sounds better. It's clean.
Yeah, it does. It's nice and smooth. All right, I can't fault you there. I do like him, but I think he won't. Especially if Noel plays, his ownership that'll be nice ownership that we get on him. I'll go to I think this is the exact same guys as last time. Grayson Allen, 3,700. Just the right value play, 3,700 for a guy that we know is going to be playing 25 minutes. And I think that's just key. Just make sure your guy has a role. If you're playing someone with value, make sure there's a reasoning on why. That's bottom line. I mean, there's a few other guys we could mention and go to, but I have just as much confidence in all these guys as I do. Danny Green, Grayson Allen. You're hoping that you get the 15 to 18. If they happen to score 25, you'll take it. Just want to avoid the 8-9 point stinkers that we see in between a lot of these guys get. But that takes us home, my good friend Keith. So thank you guys for listening. If you have a moment, you can give us a 5-star rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. Get the notification whenever this podcast hits the airwaves for you to listen. It allows us to also get better and see what you guys think. Bottom line. And then if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can find me at Mike Apotria. That's MikeApotria. And you can find Keith at Ginsberg Beats. That's G1NSBERG B3ATS. Keith, is there anything else you'd like to leave the people with before we get out of here?
No, man. I hope Rose drops 40 on the Atlanta Hawks. That would make my night. I don't even care who wins the game. I just want Derrick Rose to drop 40. That's all I want. So everyone be on the lookout for it. I'm calling it here now. Derrick Rose is dropping. I'll say 35. No, 32. I'll say 32. I'll drop it a little bit more.
32. That's like a nice, respectable number too. Just just bullish enough where. If you said like 20, like 24, I would have been like, no big deal.
That's not dropping. You don't drop 24. You just score 24, man. You drop 32. Okay?
Well, if I get 24, man, it's dropping it.
That's true. That's true. If I drop 6 in a pickup game, I'm happy. So.
Yeah. That's it from us. From Keith, from Mike Apotria, from everybody here at Hoop Ball, from the guys that would be lucky if they can drop 6. We can't. We can barely drop our car keys and pick them up without feeling the pain, but thank you guys for listening. We will be back tomorrow. It'll be Santino and I. We'll be taking down the slate. Let's go out there and crush some GPPs.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.
Lowe's has more of what trade pros like you need to get the job done. That means more delivery options, more convenient hours to fit your schedule, and more savings to fit your budget. More of the brands you trust the most. More of everything you need, all in one place. That's why, in the past year, more electricians, landscapers, painters, plumbers, and other pros helped make Lowe's the new home for trade pros. U.S. only.